For those of you that might not have heard of Pasco, you might be unaware of how long he's been involved working with minor hockey goaltenders around British Columbia. He has been doing this particular role for the last 27 years. As a goalie coach, he specializes in developing goaltending assets for netminders not only here in BC, but across Canada, the United States, and different parts of Europe. He's a high-performance NCCP Level 2 coach and goaltending evaluator for BC Hockey. Pasco's worked with Hockey Canada's national development camps as well. Over the years, many goalies that are playing today in the National Hockey League, he worked with when they were in their teens. So please take a few notes if you are planning to work with goaltenders of any age at minor hockey throughout BC. The coach's notes are provided by our friends at the coach's site. So thank you again to those folks. And as we get set up here, Pasco will be the next one you'll hear from on the ice on the mic.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming out to BC Hockey and the Canucks Coaching Day. My name is Pasco, Valana, and I'm blessed to have the privilege of coaching goaltenders over the last 25 seasons, and have worked with minor hockey goaltenders all the way up to 16 of the starters in the National Hockey League with a company called Access Talent Management. Today, my partner is Billings from Richmond Minor Hockey. We're going to go over a few different elements of goaltending, just so that you're able to take it back to your practice and even apply it to some of your practices as early as today. First and foremost, just want to take a look at the stance. And when you're looking at a goaltender's stance, it is individual to goaltenders. There's no question about that. But we have to give them some framework. And the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that it's somewhat layered. And what I mean by that is, when you're in an airplane, you can see 1,000 miles or longer. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that your vision is maximized. A lot of goaltenders will stand up, okay, and they will actually have their masks, just keep looking straight, and they'll have their masks somewhat like this, where they're looking through the middle bars. And what we need to do is we need to have them with their helmet right on their eyebrows or just above, looking through the top of the mask. Secondly, in Adam's situation right now, he can see all the way up to Jim Robson's broadcast gondola. Does he need that information? No. He needs to be collecting information from down on the ice, so he needs to maximize his vision by tilting his head forward and being able to look and track the puck from the player's blade right down to his stick. So in a layered stance, the first thing obviously is vision, and we'll just bypass that from now on. It's a steady focus. Number one in the stance is to have your stick out where you can see it at the bottom of your vision. So I'll turn Adam sideways, and while he's looking outward, he needs to be able to see his blade. The majority of the shots down low, when the shots are dead on, should be managed by the stick so that we can develop pucks and push pucks into the corners in transition. If we use the pads in those techniques, then it's going to result in multiple rebounds, making it much more difficult for your defenseman. So we really want them to learn the stick, and we'll utilize some of that today. Secondly, we want to make sure that the hands are next in line. Clearly the blocker and the glove, very important. We want to make sure that the blocker's in good position. We're all shaped like an X. Shape yourself like an X out. Nope. Hands straight up like an X. There you go. So we're always having holes in these particular areas. So we're vulnerable. And what we need to do is we need to get really good at covering the areas that we don't cover, which blocker goes here, go ahead, and your glove goes to manage this spot. You'll hear it even with Hockey Canada as I sit on their advisory board for goaltending is we don't want to see hands in front of the body. Basically, one guy is doing the job with another guy in the same spot. We want to occupy space that we don't cover. So we've got the head for vision, we've got the hand, or the stick, the hands, and the very next thing in line here is going to be the head. The head needs to be in front of the pads, okay? Now the reason why it's in front of the pads is that you're able to see pucks that are down in your feet. There's often, even in the drills that we saw today with Greg, that sometimes the puck should be right on the pads and the goalies can't see it. One of the things that I had to learn is I moved from like a Chris Osgood mask, or again, Pluche mask, which is more relevant, and I moved to one of these when they first came out. And this right here, this chin cup, is a voluntary blind spot. So if you look at it like you normally do out of a helmet, you know, you're not going to be able to see anything that's at your lips and lower right in front of you about 5-6 feet. So it's really important to get used to that. So, vision, stick, hands, head, and then finally the skates, okay? If we transition this now into a butterfly, nothing changes in this scenario with an active butterfly. Active meaning the puck is further away, and you use your hands to catch. So when he releases his blades, go ahead, his head still remains in front, the stick remains in front, and the hands are still active. And nothing else moved. It was all structured. So stand up again. The releasing of blades is almost like having a rope that's attached to the back of your heels. And when I say release, he's going to release. Go, release! So he goes straight down. What a lot of goaltenders tend to do, stand up, is they go back into a straight up and down stance. Sorry, not that quite, that much. And they try to genuflect or kneel down. So go ahead and kneel down. And when they do that, what ends up happening is the body leans backwards. And when you lean backwards, you pull away from the puck. So, one of the most simple things to keep in mind is you want to make sure that your stance will allow you to have the sight on the puck or the vision on the puck, and then secondly, access to the puck. So if you're teaching young kids, like some of the Adams or Hockey 4s, when they played cars when they were little boys and little girls, they were down there and they're touching their cars and their heads were right over top of the puck or the toy that they're playing with. You don't want to pull away and not reach for it. So go ahead, stand up. Face the crowd for us here. So when you go down in a butterfly, you want to have them alternate left side and right side so we become omnipotent. So for example, if Adam was to face a shot that would go in a rebound in this direction, he'd want to get up with his right foot first. Down. Good. Rebound and up. Okay? Same idea if he was to take a shot here and it went out to the center, shot down, and he'd get up with the foot that would lean towards that. So taking into consideration here how you recover, you want to release down, you want to track the puck right down to where it makes impact. You want to look, lean, and load. When you look, lean, and load your leg, then you're able to get over to that spot. Don't move yet. Go back to butterfly. So when you're in your butterfly, once you look at the puck, and then you lean towards it, and almost like the puck is pulling you towards the rebound, it creates space on this side. And if you create a little rule with your goaltenders, once you make the save, it goes down. Once your nose gets
working them like a
on
puppet.
this side, this leg should be up. So that way you've created enough space, you've got enough body balance, and then you can power slide over to your feet. Go ahead. Okay? One of the things you do the entire time. So why don't you just go ahead, release into a butterfly, and power slide onto your feet, keeping your head, shoulders, and hands stable. Ready? And shot, and release to the side you want to go to. To the right, power slide. Good. Down, and release to the middle, and down, and release to the left. Good. Back to the middle again. Now, let's back up just a few feet. Now let's say that puck is just surrounding that crease. Just surrounding right near the crease. He's going to want to make sure that his hands make an adjustment. So he goes from an active butterfly, I'm going to show him an active butterfly, hands are active, to a block style butterfly. So his hands come into more of a block position. The National Hockey League goaltenders now use something a little bit different. So if you watch very carefully here, on the shot, the puck comes and then moves over to one side. They want to break this wrist now, and you'll see it a lot with Vasilevsky, one of our goaltending coaches at Elite Goalies is his goaltending coach, and just an amazing guy. But he comes down this way, moves over to this side of the net, and he breaks his hand in this position here, so he shadows the puck, and then he's able to move into position to be able to block shots, okay? The same goes with the other side, in backdoor style plays. If we were to take, leashes, which we'll show you down there, the shot will come. It'll come onto this side over here, and then his blocker will move right over top of the puck, basically creating box control. All right? Good job. All you have to do is stand there now. All your work is good. So stand right here. What you have to take into consideration is the net changes. So if we're in the middle and the puck is faced off and they come down the middle of the ice, this is what the shooters are going to see, and this is ultimately what we have to defend. Brad, come on over. Eddie, come on over. Stand nice, straight, and tall for me. Adam. How many Adams does it take to fill the net? 1, 2, and then 3. So move in nice and tight. So now 3 coaches cover that net. So that goaltender has quite the task, and that's why we need to use projection and move out, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. You guys can move out now. Okay? The same idea now moves when there's a face-off. Okay, and these guys over here, you're going to go over there. Face-off on this side, I'll move it over there so you can see it as well, is he's going to be dealing with a much different size net now. In fact, the post is here when it's facing this group, and now he's dealing with a much smaller area. So he would need an Eddie to come on over. So he would need 2 of himself to cover that net. So we need to make sure these goaltenders are athletic and they're able to access the puck. And then finally, we're going to switch it to 1. So let's do it straight ahead here. If this puck is just above the goal line, go ahead. He only needs 1 Adam to deal with it. So if that's the goal line right here, Adam, you're going to put your speed on the post. There you go. And it only takes 1 Adam to deal with the spot. So come in and defend the post like you normally would. There you go. Okay, so the post is right here, he only has to deal with that. So understanding the net space behind him makes a big difference. A lot of goaltenders, you can come off the post, will play as if they need to cover 3 areas of space when they only have to cover 1 area of space. Okay? And for Hockey Canada, we use Zone 3, Zone 2, and Zone 1. Which if you go to our website or if you have any questions, you can certainly see me afterwards. I'll come up for a bit. And we'll tell you how Hockey Canada does their goaltending training and the influence that we've put there. So we do a little bit of skating now. There's 4 main things that a goaltender needs to know at the very basic level. And those 4 different skating movements need to be mastered before you get into more complicated techniques such as the RVH, the VH, and things like that, which I run into arenas all the time, seeing goalies going down. I'll show you what those tactics are. So the first thing that a goaltender needs to learn, obviously, besides the stance, is a simple shuffle. So being in position, you can take them from the side if you want. It just go left or right. So Eddie's just going to plot a puck there, and he's just going to go lateral right across to the blue line. Ready? So learning the shuffle, go ahead. So you're going to go right over to the far blue line. Yeah. So just keep going towards Brad. Okay, so as he goes through this, he's able to shuffle through, and if you look, Adam's using his shuffle. Now you can come back and do short shuffles. Go ahead. Short shuffles. Nope. You have to be a little quicker, Adam. So you're just going to move. Yeah. So small little movements, maybe go left then right. Good. So the head, shoulder, and hands remain stable the entire time, because the more movement you add into that process, the more difficult it becomes to gain balance and edge work. Okay, the second thing they need to learn is the T-push. So basically they're putting their head over top of their glide leg, and they're applying pressure on their inside skate. So goaltenders spend about 90% of their time on their inside edges. Go ahead. Forward T-push. Go. Go. And if you notice, Adam's using a single foot stop. The faster we can teach the goaltenders to use a single foot stop, the better. Backwards. Go. Move back a little bit, Eddie, from distance. Eddie. Just move backwards because it's distance. Further, and stop, and Adam move back further. Okay, so when you're dealing with these types of pucks, we want to make sure we manage our vision. So again, those are the forward and T-pushes and backward T-pushes. Okay, now we're going to work into a butterfly recovery, taking the look, lean, and load into position. So a shot down, and he's going to look, lean, and load into position. Down, look, lean, and load into position. If you notice he's using a T-push right now, there's the T, there's the push. shot down, he's tracking the puck, he's allowing the puck to pull him over to one side. The same thing goes backwards. Ready? Shot, release, down, goes this way, the blocker breaks and he moves across. As you can see, as he masters this, it'll move into slides. Okay, so down and then power slide onto your feet. Okay, there's different tactics and techniques that can do that. Okay, the third most important of the four would be the pivot. So when we're talking about pivots, that's talking about shifting your hips and your hip angle towards the puck. Some of you guys that follow goaltending have heard Steve McKitchen talk about the Royal Road. I like to keep it less complicated and just call it the middle of the ice. And the majority of goals scored in the National Hockey League right now are forcing a goaltender from facing one way to facing this way. Okay, so very similar to seeing who's here on the Washington Capitals on the power play. Anybody?
Ovechkin.
Ovechkin. He's got the most goals in the National Hockey League right now. So he stands here, but the majority of the play is on that side. So what ends up happening is a goaltender will have his main focus on this player, scan for Ovi, and then that pass will come over for a 1-2. And it's very difficult to change 3 hip angles. 1, 2, 3. So learning how to pivot becomes very important. Go ahead, pivot. Good. Pivot back. Pivot. Pivot. Good. Can you show me a pivot with a short shuffle? Face the group. So a small pivot like this with a short shuffle. Good. Do it again. Go. 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 Good. Now, what a lot of goaltenders are doing in your minor hockey associations right now, they're anchoring this foot, they're doing a C cut like this, lifting their foot up, and then driving. And when you're on your inside edge already, all you need to do is move with the puck. So all you have to do is push off that. So let's say you're in a stance position, you're going to see this in the drills, and just push to your right. Push. Good. Push to your left. Good. So he's much more focused and much more anchored. Okay? Make sense? All right. So when you're dealing with this, you've got your shuffle, you've got your T-push, you've got your pivot, and the last one that becomes really important is your C-cut. So in your stance position, that's how you're going to be moving forward in your C-cuts, stopping with one foot, and then moving backwards with your C-cuts. So you can do 2, you can do 1 leg at a time. Good. And go backwards. Okay. Why don't you show us what Jonathan Quick does in Los Angeles? Okay. So back here at the edge of the circle. Okay. And what he's going to do is he's going to leap on one leg, then leap on one leg, and ride the edge out. So trusting his edges. Good. Good. Now let's go backwards, same thing. No pressure. Nope. So on one leg, again, maintaining head, shoulder, and hand stability, kind of keeping a goal not to release your blade from that until you touch the line. Just a great way to build balance and stability, okay? Last but not least, before we move over to the other side here, let's go into your some of the advanced tracking when you get into the on-ice movement. So getting back into your posts, you know what you were doing as a warm-up, which is the C-cuts on your knees. Okay, go for it. So these are just other adaptive skating techniques. Go ahead. Where he can use his heels, go forward and backward, whatever you want to do. Go. Just like you were doing over there. Go forwards and backwards in a circle. Remember? There you go. So he goes out to move his leg. He can use his heels to move himself forward. Okay, these are all more advanced techniques that the goaltenders will soon learn if they can master the C-cuts. So again, the 4 are the C-cuts, the T-pushes, the shuffles, and the pivots. Good job, Adam. Let's go. Great job. Okay, so down here, we're just going to go through a bit of a warm-up, and the first thing we want to do is get the goaltenders tracking, catching the puck with their eyes. So the first shot I'm going to shoot on Adam is just going to be above the pads. He's going to track it right to his stomach, and then he's going to get up and face me. Good. So now, as if I haven't shot, I'm now going to pass to Eddie. So he's going to track that puck with pivots. Here you go. Pass and shot. Perfect. And then Eddie's going to pass to me. Good. And then I'm going to pass to Brad. Bang. Shot. Good. So all we're doing is practicing getting that center and just hitting the middle of the body. Back to me again. Good. Over to Eddie. Shot. Good. Eddie, why don't you pass it to Brad? Go ahead. Good. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, same idea. I'm going to shoot the puck down on the ice. And like I said before, it's really important for us to become solid with our sticks and solid with our pads. So this time, the only thing we're going to use is our stick. Okay? So we're looking for those elevation type things. So in your stance position, just to make one quick note here, this is 100% of the crease. Get up. Okay, go to 75 or 3/4 crease, 50, and then 25. Okay? The goaltenders have to do all these styles of drills at every layer of depth in the crease, and that way they become proficient, because we're not always going to be in the ideal spot. So, first shot's going to be down low. Here we go. Okay, a little too much rotation on that one. Let's put the puck in the corner. Ready? Good. Okay, let's go off this side. Go. Good. So where do we want that puck? Let's go shoot it off the inside. Go. Good. Back to me. Shot. Good. Go. Okay, back to me. Good. Good. Over to Brad. Good. Okay, so we saw a couple of different things. I'll show you a couple things from this side. And this is where we get into things like game planning. Okay? Game planning is having a strategy for each area or section of the ice. So your stance position, if I was to shoot this puck to the glove side and he uses a stick, you're going to use your stick here. Ready? Okay. Then we have the rebound going to the complete opposite side. So now we have a group of players here that has to change their angle of defense. So we want to try to stop that from happening. So on the short side, we can use our pad. And then it focuses on the rebound going into the corner on the ice. And you can know how many times you shoot, the puck's always going to stay on that side of the ice. Okay? The same thing goes with the other side. We want a level of predictability as the players get older. So if we use our stick on this, then we've got pucks that are going off the boards. Some are going to go off the glass. Some are going to go in the net. Okay? One more. Okay? Some are going to just end up on our footprint. If we shoot on the short side using the pad along the ice, here, then the puck goes nicely into the corner and your defense can filter in quite nicely behind you. Okay? That's why we practice. Good job. So the same idea of why you use your pad on the inside of the post is the same reason why you use your stick when the pucks are dealing with the middle. If Eddie was a net driver in the middle, which I'm not going to get you to do because I'd like you to keep your teeth, okay, you're going to use your stick and you're going to elevate pucks out of danger. So your stick's going to be more favoring towards the left. Good. And now you've got nice plays that are going to keep pucks on that far side, preferably elevation. Let's put one more up into the screen. There you go. Good job. So now he has the opportunity to be able to dictate the game and place pucks where he wants to place them. The blocker side is the most dangerous. This is where guys are going to be shooting pucks down low. If you use your pad on the inside, so you'll use your pad on this one, and we're going to go blocker side pad, then we're going to have those pucks come across in a triple net drive, and we're going to create a lot of rebounds for ourselves. So if we can get a stick on it, now we're getting some elevation, and nobody's able to get, that's a bad pass, a bad shot, no one's able to get their hand on it. One more time, and release. There you go. So very, very good. So those are just samples of why it's so important to use your stick and to use, of course, your pad at certain times. All right, we're going to go to gloves. Okay? So what I'd like you to do is catch the puck. I'd like you to hand pass it to Eddie, who's going to pass it to Brad, who's going to pass it to me. And we're going to have a drill where we only have 2 pucks. Okay? So come in a little bit tighter towards Adam, and you're going to come up a little higher because you're just going to bump past the puck to me. Stance position, and I'm going to shoot to release here. Ready? Bang. You're going to hand pass it to Eddie, who passes it to Brad. Hold on to it, Brad. Hold on to it, and then I'm going to shoot. Go. Pass. Go, Brad. Go. Good. Pass. Go. Good job. Now you can add different drills to the goaltender. By the way, excellent job, guys. We're going to add one thing, and we're going to add the use of pivots and C-cuts here. So after every glove save that you pass, which this time you're going to use your stick to pass the puck, you're going to do a 360, and you're going to alternate sides to the 360. You got it? Here we go. Shot, catch, drop, it's up to, yep, 360. No. Just stand up and do a 360. Yep, go. 360. Good. Stance, and good. Puck. So just by adding one little thing, you can really mess up the goaltender. Good. 360. Good. Other way. Go. Good. Good. And it focuses his attention on being square and to the puck. He has to find the puck, which is one of the first things in goaltending that you need to do, and be as consistent as you possibly can. All right? Good job. Now, with the glove, go down in your butterfly. If you've got younger goaltenders, the best way to start them is going to be on their knees. What you're seeing on the ice here is a shot line. So he knows that if this puck is going to go outside of that, it's going to miss the net. So it teaches him to use his skates as the marker for shot lines over time. So what we're going to do is just catch the puck. Good, put it down. And I want them to put it down, right down beside them, so they have the ability to place the puck when they need to. Okay? The next one will be higher, and it'll be up where his shoulder is, so it'll get him a little bit more nervous possibly, but it'll help them track pucks.
That's fine.
Good. So just prepare to receive versus slap. There you go. Prepare to receive. Good. Excellent. Okay. One of Carly Letman's favorite drills and Brian Elliott's favorite drills are headshots. Same idea. Butterfly. So now this puck comes straight in their head. Good. They get into position, and they have the ability to track pucks right at their mask. Obviously, a higher skill for goaltenders. The last one on the glove side will be to the right shoulder. This one's really popular in Finland as well. So when we shoot the puck, you'll probably see on the camera the word Bauer there. We're going to shoot the puck right at the Bauer sign. And he's going to go across his body and catch the puck. People would say, well, why would we do this? Because if you use the blocker, it's most likely going to result in a rebound.
Oh, well, what